Hi all, it's Chris Thompson here from Property Portal Marketing. I am with Simona, who is just going to say hi and continue the conversation. That's it. You'll notice on all of these videos, I kind of do the intro. Funnily enough, we have spoken about you doing the intro before, Simona, but the last time you did the intro, we had to record it about 20 times before you got it right. So, hello from Simona. Um, yeah, so today it's just us two today. So back to the general podcast sessions, even though the ones with the guests are really nice as well, because it kind of gives us a really nice vibe, nice focus. We can ask some really good questions to some agents. But yeah,
Yeah.
just the two of us today. And we're going to talk a little bit or discuss probably. Oh, I need a haircut. It's getting all over my hair and everything. I can even make I can even make one of these now. Look. Long enough. Long enough. Um, yeah, we're going to talk or discuss about how you can, as an agent, sell yourself more to a potential property vendor, someone that's going to use you to sell the home, rather than just selling on price. Because that seems to be the way that a lot of agents sell to a potential vendor, or even they all sell the same way. And yeah, I thought about this topic because I just happened to see an agent put out a Facebook video, which is good. Well done on the agent. They've put out a Facebook video, which is great. You know, we're talking about Facebook videos, but I'm not going to obviously name the agent, but they basically said what everyone else is saying. There didn't seem to be any uniqueness there. And even though they weren't necessarily selling based on price, a lot of agents will sell on their low prices and low commissions. Whereas what they should be doing is utilizing other bits and pieces to really attract the vendors to them as the specialist in the area. Because as we know, Simona, price isn't everything.
And as you know, a lot of agents are using specialists in the area. So you're
Exactly.
ending up having 100 specialists in the area and you're going to go, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think part of the problem is when you sell on price, you also dilute your service. I think that's very important to mark. Um, if you can only sell on price and it's the only thing you're good at, then everything else that you're doing, you know, the videos, the walkthroughs, the area information, all of that kind of goes out the window. And you're not placing any value on the other things that you're offering. Essentially, you're saying to somebody, come on board with us because the only thing we're going to do for you is do it cheap. You know, there's nothing else there that says to a possible vendor that you are the people that they should use. And there's so many other tools that you can attract people in with. The other thing that the other problem, and I suppose this creates a problem and is contributing to the problem, is that if you only sell on price, two things really. Firstly, you start taking on every single property, right? So you might actually end up with properties that are never going to sell, but you're just getting them on for the sake of taking them on, and people are coming to you because you're offering a low price. So you can't really say no at that point. But also, you are in a way contributing to a market where everybody else then feels they have to sell at a lower price because it's the only way for them to get properties on. So, you know, if you've got 15 agents all selling at, you know, 5%, and then 2 or 3 of those agents undercut and start selling at 4%, the vendors are going to go to them. That means everybody else starts dropping their prices. Then, of course, you've got one person then starts selling at 3%. So everybody else goes, right, okay, well, now I have to sell at 3%. And then eventually you're going to get to a point whereby everybody is just selling at 1% and nobody's making any real money. And nobody's placing any value on their service because they've diluted it to the point where they can't then raise their price. You know, it's very easy to reduce prices, but it's very difficult to then, once you've got to that point, to then raise the price unless you're justifying that by offering anything more. I mean,
Well,
kind of in the right ballpark. What do you kind of think on that whole issue?
I mean, when it comes to choosing to whom you're gonna sell, I think, yeah, you're gonna go look at the fees they are charging you. You're gonna also look on how they are marketing your property. And you might go there and say, okay, I have this property that I want to sell, and I want to sell it, of course, fast, because no one wants to stay with a house on the market for a year. And you're going to go say, okay, you can do property tour, video tour. You can maybe do online viewings. What else are you like offering me that no one else is offering out there? Or at least what are you offering better
Mm.
than the next agency next to you? And this is where you come in with, you have to offer an end-to-end support.
Yeah, I
So
agree. Yeah, I think
yeah,
support there is one of the big things. I yeah, I hear quite a lot of the time where agents have sort of taken properties on, and I think one of the big thing for vendors is they never hear any feedback. You know, one of the big things in the UK is, and probably to an extent, I think I'm probably right in Spain as well. It's one of the things that happens is, you know, I give a property to an agent, but then that agent will never give me any feedback. So they might take people around the house, but they'll never tell me how the viewing went, for example. Or there's a property that has been lasted 6 months on the books and there's never been any viewings on it, but that agent isn't proactive about marketing that property, or they're not honest when they take the property on in the first place, you know. Um, and I think when you go and represent your agency and you sit in front of a vendor, um, I would never personally. I don't think you should walk in there and say, "Oh, you shouldn't use me because we only charge 3% commissions," because as I say, you're immediately devaluing your product. I think as the specialist in the area, which is what you are, you have to go in there and you have to be honest with that vendor, you know. And if that vendor is not prepared to listen to you as the specialist, realistically, one, is that the type of vendor that you want to be working with? And two, is there really much point in you taking a property on that is not going to sell? You know, um, it's a bit of a yes, it's a bit of a catch-22 because you want to take listings on, but at the same time, you want to take listings on that your audience as an agent is going to want to buy. So I think that's the first point is that you have to be honest with your potential vendor. But also, here's a big one: is if you are the specialist in the area, then what what the prices are going to command. You know who's buying in the area. You should sell on that fact. I think a lot of people, when they go and sit in front of a possible vendor, they probably don't use the tools that are at their disposal, right? So one of the things that I think people could do really effectively is they could say, "Oh yeah, so we know about the area, so this is the types of prices that people are going to be able to get in this area. This is how quickly we are able to sell properties in this area. This area, as we know, is family, so it's probably going to be bought by a family. This is how we are going to represent this property. This is how we are going to sell this property." I don't think enough agents do that.
no, because basically, for now, agents, I think, or most of them, are there on a solely purpose of, I'm receiving the listings, I'm gonna promote them to sell the listing, do the viewings, and if it goes up to a sale, case closed. They are not going to go there and say, "Oh, are you interested in selling a property with us? We are offering you personalized service." That's fine. Okay. We are offering you trusted network, which is important, because when you want to buy or sell, you want to have like easy access to top legal and financial professionals and advice. You need to make sure that the purchase or the selling process goes smooth and it's secure. So if a real estate agency comes there and says, "Look, I can offer you this," so as I said, we are taking you from start to finish, and this is a trusted network, backed up by endorsement, by reviews, which are very important,
Yeah.
by real proof, even on social media, like real proof of, "Look, we've sold this property in this amount of time." Or maybe if you're not comfortable saying in how fast you sold it or how long it took, just say, "We had like 1 or 2 sales this week or this month in this area, happy clients. So you need to actually let audience know, like your clients, your future clients know that you actually are doing like a physical business that is continuing to sell and to be used by other people. So there are little hints that you can put out there, and at the
Yeah.
end, when you're talking to a new client, you can go in and say, yeah, this is our reputation, these are real facts that we deal with. Yes, you can give stats if you want, if you have them at hand. And
Yeah.
of course, if you know the area and we are actually specialists in the area, as I said, we can offer you everything from strategic targeting with data-driven insight for that client or for that specific audience that you're targeting. So you can give them much more. Most of them are not going to talk about that. Most of them are going to just go for the meeting and say, okay, this is the property, this is the
Yeah.
price you want, this is the value of the property in the area.
Yeah.
Let's see, we're going to put it on the website, we're going to put it on the portals. And maybe they are not going into specific, like which portals, how are you going to actual market, besides putting it on your website. As you said before, what's the feedback on this? So how many hits the link had on that property from your advertising, what you actually are doing on a weekly base to be in charge of this. If the role is solely for, we are meeting the client, we are taking on the property, and it stops there, yes, it's not going to make a difference why a seller should choose you over the other.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Yeah.
day, if I want to sell my house in Spain, let's see, and I have 20, like I'm on an area in Spain where I have 20 real estate agencies. Most of them are there for decades. So from our clients, for example, most of them have started this business 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think we have one that said, oh, I started last year and this. No, most of them are there for like 30 years. So of course by now they know the locals, they know the area very well. They also have this extensive network of working with lawyers and notaries and everything you need to put in place. Now all it takes is for them to separate those things and specify them, like put them out there clearly.
Yeah.
For everyone to know. You can use social media, you can use local advertising, you need actually to do this. So I think real estate agents needs to take on, any real estate agent should take on an extended role, if I can say like this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Of course.
basically a bit of marketing,
Yeah.
sales pitch. So a bit of this and a bit of that. So they are not just getting into that meeting solely like, I'm the real estate agent, so I'm representing this agency now.
Yeah.
Let's
And I
do a
love,
transaction.
I love how a lot of them say, oh, and I've seen plenty of videos of agents saying, we're the best agents in the area. Okay. But you know what? As a seller, right? I don't want to know if you're the best agent in the area. I don't. That's not going to make me agree to your 3% commission or your 4% commission or your 5% commission. What's going to make me agree to, giving you my property is, as an estate agent, can you demonstrate that you can sell my house to the right people in a good amount of time, right? If you can do that, that's all I care about as the seller, right? If you can do that, then you will justify the fee that you're charging me. But if all you're going to do as an estate agent is come into my house, take a look around my property, and say, yeah, we sell it we're going to sell your property at 2%. Yeah, and like, okay, yeah, okay, let me sign up with you. Yeah, just because you sell at 2%, it doesn't mean that you are, an agent that I'm going to want to use. I want to know more information other than just what kind of price you're going to sell my property at. In terms of what commission you're going to charge me. I want you to prove to me that you are the specialist in the area. I want you to say who you think my house is going to be suitable for, knowing where my house is located. I want you to say that you're going to do all these video tours. I want you to say how you're going to market my property. I want you to say that, oh, look, we've sold. Oh, great, you've sold, you took on a property last week and you've sold it already. Those are the sorts of things that I want to hear as a seller, not just that you're going to sell my house at 2%. Great. Okay. Brilliant. Well, hang on a minute. 5 other agents are also going to sell it at 5%. So what makes you different as a realtor? What makes you, what is going to make me as a seller jump out and go, you're the agent I want to work with? And it's no good saying, oh, we're the best agent in the area, because every other Tom, Dick, and Harry is saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah, and I mean, Chris, even if you're seeing out there, we are the top leading agency in, let's see, Costa Blanca, and that might be true. It doesn't mean it's suitable for you, because at the end of time, you need to be comfortable with the agency that you're working with. So if you go there with a nice presentation and it contains stats and some of like a plan, like this is our, even like short bullet points, but this is our marketing strategy, this is what you get, or this is what we're offering you, and these are our professionals to help you with this and that. So with all the legal stuff that you have to deal with, look, we are working like this, and even an amount of time that you can give them. As you said, this is estimate about 2 weeks or a month for this part of the notary and the fees and the legal proceedings, and this will be the amount of time we estimate for this. You are kind of giving him an like reassurance that you actually have the facts and you know what you're talking about, and that his house is in good hands, and he is in good hands, because it's not only about the property, it's about the owner. It's of the owner wants, as I said, a smooth process. So if you can reassure him that you're gonna represent the property the best you can, and that you basically gonna take care of him, he will be more likely to go with you, and your fee either is a medium or a high percentage, because sometimes people do pay a premium. They don't mind you charge like 5% if they have the reassurance that I'm going to give you the keys and in 2 months time everything is settled, I have the money in the account, I don't care.
Justification is key, isn't it? I think
justification is
talking
key.
about having keys in hand, justification is key. And there are plenty of examples where people will buy on quality, right, rather than just based on price, and justify that. You don't have to start the conversation with the price. You can start the conversation with the other bits and pieces that we've talked about, and by the time you finish that conversation, that's how you justify paying a slightly higher price. Okay, well, our commission is 4%, but look, as we've discussed, you're going to get this, you're going to get the help and support you need. With these are the stats in the area. This is this, this is this, this is this. And actually that 4% or that 5%, actually you're justifying that based on what you're going to offer, rather than just kind of, not giving that information and yet still expecting the agent to come on board with you and give you that property to sell. It's a little bit like the bits and pieces that an agent will put into place when they're talking to somebody who wants to buy. That agent sells themselves when that person wants to buy. It's exactly the same process when someone wants to sell. You're just flipping it. And even with AI, I think people will still buy from people, right? There is that old adage. It's been around for years, and people will still buy from people. You just have to justify it.
And look, if you're taking on clients in your local area, so your job is a bit easy, because if you've done your cards right, you by now have a good reputation among locals. So it goes down to personal preferences on this point. So out of those 20 agencies, you're going to already be known. You have already sold to locals, you have the same routine, the same fiestas. So basically, you know each other. People are going to go down to the personal preferences. When you have to actually convince a client that is abroad and wants to sell the house he has bought in that area, then it comes to the point where he doesn't know your local reputation, because he's not living there. So he doesn't know you, and he hasn't drink like sangria with you or went to tapas bar to chat about football. So that goes out of the window because they don't know you. And those clients then are going to go to the online channels. And here it comes to the way you present your website and your business on social media and what's the message you're putting out there. So here it comes down to either you have a good amount of review and endorsement and you're backed up by facts, like sold properties, these are happy clients, this area, as you said, give them insights on the local area, place yourself at that spot so they can actually see you there and actually understand that, okay, I'm not dealing with just a website here, I'm dealing with a human and this is his name and this is who it is. I like it or like I like him or not. They can make a justified opinion based on social media presence, and we can discuss more on how or why they should do certain amount of things on social media when to put themselves out there. We've discussed this before. They are not most of them are not comfortable being in front of the camera, so they are very happy and relaxed behind like behind the camera doing their own business. And when it comes to telling them, look, you have to have maximum visibility and you have to show people that you are like there to offer personalized service and this is who you are and this is what you do, they're gonna go, yes, we're gonna do it. And 6 months later they still haven't put a single video up there. So yeah, a website, if the website is done perfectly and there's no problem with that, you're gonna attract like customers that are gonna phone and they're gonna call. From there, you actually have to convince them with something more real than the beautiful pictures on your website. You will have to actually talk to them and give them something more than just the sales pitch.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Most of what I think the main issue in real estate transaction is that the first contact usually is at the other end of the phone and you don't have a face for the person that you're talking to. You just have a voice and the name.
I actually, funny enough, we actually received an inquiry the other day to build a website for a client, and I've actually never thought about doing this before, right? So it was I actually a client actually taught me something, which is it's great, like happy days. But she actually said to me, "Look, why don't we jump on a Zoom call, right? Because it's nice to see." Your face when you're talking to somebody because you get to know them a little bit better. You get to know their characteristics. You get to know things like that. And I'd spoken to her for about half an hour before she suggested, well, look, why don't we jump on a Zoom call and, we can meet each other that way. And actually doing that does bring the human aspect into it, especially when, AI is as good as it is now. Sometimes you get a phone call and you don't even know who you're talking to. It's like, oh, here's another Jim calling me. Now, is this Jim, is it AI or is it an actual human? It's that good.
So that's the thing. Most real estate agencies out there on their website, they will have the team or about us, and you're gonna get this beautiful description that is gonna be backed by stats, how long they've been there, so on and so forth. It's just you don't have the images there, like a photo with the sales team, even a generic one, if you don't want to put them one by one, even a generic one. So basically bring your presence there so people can actually see a face and have sort of an idea to whom they're gonna like discuss or sell their home. Zoom meetings, they are perfect. The thing is, with through all inquiries, you can't answer with Zoom. Zoom call.
That's true.
What they can do is, as we said before, have at least one opening intro, like a video out there on their social media saying, this is who you are, who we are, this is what we do. So basically at least a 1 minute video where you're talking to your audience so they can see you, and then they're gonna be like, okay, so this is the guy or the agency that we're gonna call. And you have an opening, like an opening point.
I think also if you are an agent and you're doing your pitch on social media. And I know a lot of agents ask us for this, but I think one thing you could do is, I think from a visual point of view, rather than sort of just going on and saying, "Hey, we need your properties," have you got a property to sell? We need your properties. I think that it doesn't come across as desperate, right?
I think it's better, Chris.
One of the
Sorry to interrupt.
I think we're going to go to the same page here.
One better alternative would be, we have clients wanting your home.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Because that's actually putting the perspective into their mind. So instead of we want your property, sell with us, go with we have clients waiting to buy your property, sell them your house.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of message, is just put differently, and perspective counts a lot.
Or you could say something along the lines of 20 homes sold in the last 6 months at an average price of this. If you're looking to sell, come and work with us. Those are the sorts of things that a seller wants to see, and you're not really. It's just in terms of the wording that you're using. If I've got two agents sitting in front of me, one of whom goes, "Hey, we want your property, give us your home," and I've got the other one who's saying, "Listen, 20 properties sold in the last 6 months at an average of 152,000. Bang, I'm going there, because they've spent the time to research their market. They sound a lot more like a specialist. And actually, that's the person I want to give my home to. Not somebody who's basically saying, "Hey, give me your home, give me your house, I want to sell it, blah, 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 blah." It's that same old thing. It makes you seem like you're money orientated rather than actually care orientated. And for me personally, the best route you can go down is care orientated. Now, I do want to say, and I do want to put this out there, that it's not going to happen every time, right? Genuinely, it isn't. There are plenty of examples where sellers have just gone, "Oh, you sell at 4%. Yeah, I don't want that. I've got an agent who's selling at 2%. Okay, fair enough. We all need houses, right? But for me as an agent, don't just go, "Yeah, okay, fine. All right, fine. We'll sell at 2% to get the property on." No, you don't have to do that. There are people out there that if you do everything that we've suggested, and it's not going to work every time, but if you're seen not to dilute your price, but you're seen to justify your price based on how you sell yourselves, you're not going to get everybody on, but you might find that you get better quality houses on through a better seller who's more motivated to sell with you, rather than the other way around. So I think that's quite an important point to add, is it's not going to work every single time. But it will create an environment where you're not just taking on any property for the sake of it. You're taking on properties that you've got a really good motivated seller that you're working with, somebody who wants to partner with you to sell your house, and I think you'll have a much better experience overall. I do also think that agents need to be a little bit better, and I've said this before, but agents need to be a little bit better with giving feedback as well. If you're taking a house on, there's two points to this. Firstly, if you're taking a house on, and I've said this, but be honest with be honest with your vendor, right? But secondly, if you're taking a house on and you haven't had any viewings in the period of time that you would normally expect to get viewings on, be proactive with it. And also, when you do get viewings on the house, give your owner feedback. Feedback is brilliant in this industry. Feedback as an agent will help you leverage an argument. So, for example, if you're telling an owner that actually the price of the house needs to be reduced because it's not sold in, let's say it's not sold in 3 months, so maybe a price reduction will help. If all you're doing is saying to that agent exactly that, which is, "We need to reduce the price of this house because it's not selling," there's no leverage there. There's nothing for that owner to go off. That owner doesn't want to do it. He's like, "Well, no, why should I?" Whereas actually, if you went to an owner and said, "Hey, we've had these 5 viewings, right? Well, nobody's yet has committed. These are the reasons they haven't committed. When you then talk to that owner and you give the reasons, you give the feedback, you're in a much stronger position to then say to that owner, okay, we might want to look at reducing the price, which might help because of this. It gives you it's a lot, again, the experience is a lot better. So giving feedback is really, really key.
Look, I can understand that sometimes they don't have time to give feedback for all their listings because sometimes they have a lot. The thing is, if you're advertising like 5 properties a week on your social media accounts, you do have access. So if you're putting it across the property portals, on social media, on email campaigns, you do have access to all the inside data. So it's very easy to get reports on this is how like the reach was for this post or for your on a weekly basis on this month. So if this is how much how many hits you had, this is how many inquiries or how many leads it has generated. So even before that viewing, you can still provide the owner in the first 2 weeks, let's say, with some online activity that it's quantifiable, so he can look at it and say, okay, so you posted it on your you did some multi-channel
You did some
promotion and
mailers or things like that.
you made the multi-channel promotion and you've optimized it and you've, I don't know, you used strategic targeting, and then these are the results for that post, and you can have 5 people looking at it, and you can have 300 click on link, and he can see like, okay, so it started, like it's going there, we have interest, let's move forward with like actual leads that are coming and turning into viewings. If you're not providing this report and you're just going, oh, we had 1 viewing this month, and that's it, then just think of it, that owner sits at home and says, okay, so I listed 30 days ago, I don't know where it's been, so I can see it on the website. And maybe he see the post on Facebook. If you don't have access to the meta, you're, as a like normal viewer, you're not gonna see the insight, you're not gonna see anything like engagement or anything. You might see the likes or comments. It's just it doesn't give you the actual facts. So at this point, you're going and sitting there and like, okay, so now what? I'm waiting here. And maybe another week, maybe 10 days. Do I call the agent? What do we do? Do we put it out for other agencies? If you're instead on a weekly basis, keep in touch with that owner and say, hey, hi, I'm just going to send you it. Like it takes you literally 10 minutes to download some of the data. These are some of the stats you might want to see about your property. Let's keep in touch for next week and see further developments. Yes, it's going to create you a more close connection to that seller. And that seller in this time is more prone to talk to family and friends and talk about you or recommend you to others, because word of mouth is the most important. And when you're selling your home abroad and you're finding the right agent, yes, you're going to tell your friends and your family. And let's be honest, if you are having a holiday home that you bought, it's in Spain, it's most likely that your cousin or your close friend or someone else has a property there as well.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to this, yes, if you're keeping in touch with your clients and you're giving them feedback on the listing, it can lead to a very good like trust connection that is going to propagate further.
Definitely.
Otherwise,
and you actually might find that owner stays with you a little bit longer as well, rather than moving off to another agent. I think sometimes if the seller feels like they're working with a stagnant agent, or they've got to that position whereby they have to call the agent rather than the agent calling them, that seller is much more likely to move on to another agent who they feel are going to be a lot more proactive. And then of course you've lost the property, you've lost all that time and all those hours you've put into marketing it. So again, it sort of comes back to that whole care thing, doesn't it?
and if you
take
have
care
like if you're talking to the owner, and as I said, you are saying, okay, we are working with a network, with a trusted network, then that seller is going to stay with you, because it's not only depending on you to promote and sell his home, but it's also depending on all the other professionals involved in the selling process that comes with you. So he knows if you're having his back all the way to the selling and aftercare sell, then he's going to say, okay, I had an amazing experience. It was all worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Testimonials from, I think getting testimonials from sellers is just as important as getting testimonials from buyers.
Testimonial from sellers. Look, I think some of the real estate agents think that we need a picture of the actual owner or the actual buyer with
Yeah.
its testimonial out there. So when it comes to Google, that's very easy. So basically, any seller out there or any buyer out there that want to leave a review, they can do it like with their account, with their Google account. On Facebook, also you can leave a
Yeah.
Facebook review. If you don't use these channels and you're giving them on like a verbal review or a WhatsApp text message review or an email review, and you're just getting this email with, oh guys, thank you, you're amazing,
Yeah.
and you're asking, hey, can we use this for social media? If you get there, okay, yes, you can use that, and then you can create a beautiful graphic or a video and you can highlight it out there. So reviews are good to put out there, especially on social. So they are from real person. You can back it up. If anyone says, oh, you don't have the picture, no worries, we can back it up. It's our buyer, or it's been the client that sells with us. So you're not lying. They are good to put out there. And honestly, if I can recommend something to real estate agencies, it would be that at least once every 2 weeks to have a review or a sold property or a let property out there. We've sold this, your house can be next.
Yeah.
Or we already sold this in this specific area. So if you have a house nearby in this neighborhood, we'll be like, we're gonna sell it for you because we already done it. Or so I'm guessing I've never asked a client what's the amount of transaction they have per month. So are you selling 1 or 20 properties? And I know some of them have a mix from sales and renting. So at this point, at least 2 reviews a month, either from selling or buying or renting or testimonial from a client, you can actually have. So it's more than doable, and it's gonna back up your activity and the fact that you are a trusted business out there and people are coming to you to help.
Definitely. Good. All right. Well, that wraps us up nicely. I think it's a little bit shorter than what we normally do, which is a good thing. What are we going to talk about next week? Are we actually going to do one next week?
Let me see what's next week.
We can do one next week, or we can do one in a couple of weeks' time. But look, the good thing is we're coming into spring, aren't we? We are coming into the busy season, hopefully, what will be a busy season. And I think it will be this year, regardless of Sanchez's comments a couple of weeks ago. No, I think it will be a good year. So maybe we should talk about the spring, the sorts of things that you can do in order to really take advantage of the start of the year. Good. So yeah, look out for that, guys. Please like, subscribe, follow us, and of course, if there's any topics that you want us to talk about, please do highlight it in the comments section. But thank you and bye.